Astronauts to the moon.
Ignition sequence start. 3, 2, 1.
Houston, we have a problem.
Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
We copy you on the ground. You got a bunch of guys about to turn blue.
What you're seeing here is a mirage.
What's going on, everyone? It's Jaron from Jeranism back with another live video for you today. Thank you guys for joining me so much. I do appreciate it greatly. As always, a big shout out to my patrons who make this channel and everything I do possible, including the upcoming observation that we'll be talking about today. The video titled for today is Mirror Observation of the Salton Sea. That's going to be going on June 2nd, this coming Sunday. So just wanted to pop in, discuss it a little bit, and joining me is Wendell. Walton, Wendell, are you there?
I am. Thank you for having me on, and thank you for partnering with us on this epic event.
Yeah, it should be awesome. I'm looking forward to it greatly, and if people don't know who Wendell is, he's actually, along with Nathan, the owners of the Flat Reality Earth Explorers channel, and I'm actually going to bring that up because I need everybody's help if you could be so kind. As you see, the Flat Reality Earth Explorers YouTube channel, who's going to be doing this observation, they've done some great ones we're going to be looking at here shortly, and they're going to be doing this one this Sunday as well and Saturday, and we're going to let Wendell talk to that. But one of the issues is that it would be nice to have live streams going. I'm going to be live streaming. I'm going to be there. I've got a long 7-hour drive coming up tomorrow, so that should be fun. But I'm going to be there. I'm going to be live streaming, but I can't be in, obviously, both the mirror observation point or the mirror flash point and the observation point. So it would be great if they could live stream as well. The problem is, if you don't know YouTube's rules and regulations, they only allow live streaming from channels with 1,000 subs. So you'll see on the screen now, the Flat Reality Earth Explorers currently have 720 subs. They had about 705 just a few minutes ago, and then I started kind of spamming some of the Skype chats with that link. If you guys scroll down in my video that you're watching right now, the very first link that you find in the description is a link to their channel, Flat Reality Earth Explorers. If you could give them a sub, it would really help us out. If you could share that on your social media, I see we're up to 721. Thank you very much for whoever did that. Might be tough to get them to 1,000, but it would be great because this way Wendell can do his live streaming. He's going to have the mirror most of the time, and it would be awesome to have him live streaming as well as me on the observation side. So yeah, I'll just go ahead and let Wendell, again, guys, just scroll down in this video, the one you're watching now, to the description. The very first link that you see is to Flat Reality Earth Explorers, and if you're just listening to this, that's 4 words. You can just search it in YouTube, Flat Reality Earth Explorers, 4 words, spelled exactly like it sounds, and give them a sub, and hopefully, I see, yeah, there we go, we're at 731 now, we're jumping up. So thank you guys so much for doing that. Hopefully we can get them to 1,000. It's a tall order, but if we can, this way they can also live stream the observations that we're going to be doing Sunday. So Wendell, I guess tell everybody who you are, what you guys have been doing, and then we'll actually look at 2 of the observations that you guys have done that are stellar, and then we can get into more important things like what's going on Sunday. But go ahead and tell people who you are.
I first of all, I wanted just to thank everyone who's subbing right now because it's so important to do a live stream when you're doing these kinds of observations, just to prove to anyone who would have any doubt whatsoever that nothing's cut together or manipulated or done in After Effects or whatever. It's all live, so it's just real important to be able to grab that from both sides of the shore and to for documentation, basically. So thanks to everyone for subbing, and hopefully we'll get over that 1,000 mark. So my journey started this time last year, and I was looking into it and went to a meetup in Arcadia, and that was the one where Nat Geo was there. And I found out about this observation that was going to happen at Salton Sea with the International Investigation Group. So I didn't consider myself a flat earther at that time, but I went down there because I knew I had to put my own eyeballs on it. I didn't know if I could trust any of the YouTube videos I was watching, but you know what? I needed to have answers. So when I went down there, and they kind of like lied to us because we could all see these weather balloons that they had there while they were on the Capri Road, and that was below what the Earth Curve calculator would say would be the hidden height. And then they just ignored that data entirely.
Right.
They actually just recently came out with a year later, Jaron. A year later, they come out with their video on it, and we've been asking for their raw footage for a year and haven't gotten anything. But they just came out with their little video showing what happened there, and it's kind of laughable. But that aside, that started our journey. So we knew that we had to go back down to Salton and do our own observations. We've taken lasers there. We've done mirror flashes, but it was over the summer, so it was like really hot at Salton at 114 degrees. And when I was doing some site surveys, I got my Ford Flex stuck in the mud. It was 119 degrees, and it took 2 tow trucks to get it out.
Oh, boy.
But yeah, what we all sacrifice for flat Earth, right?
Absolutely.
But that's why we went up to Monterey Bay when you invited us to come up there and do some observations there. So that's beautiful up there anyway.
Yeah, it's gorgeous. Yeah, and I really appreciate you guys, like you said, doing your own observations. I've pointed out this Monterey Bay observation. We're going to be pointing out the Salton Sea that you guys did 18 miles mirror observation, which is just stellar and fantastic and absolutely detrimental to the globe. But the greatest thing for me is that I'm happy to be going down this time, and we're going to get to repeat those observations, and we're going to even try and stretch it. And for me, I'm in the same boat as you, Wendell. As much as I've promoted your stuff, not anything bad against you guys, not anything bad about anybody doing any kind of observations, but I really need to see it for myself. This is why I'm excited I'm going down this weekend because, yeah, even though it's a 7-hour drive, it's a long trip. It's going to be, have to stay in a hotel a few days. But for me, it's going to be awesome, even if we only see the short observation, even if we can see again, repeat the 17 miles. And then as we're going to talk about, guys, we're going to be getting into much further distances, and we'll discuss that here shortly. Let me just show you real quick what we're talking about first with this Monterey Bay observation. And this one was about 11.5 miles. If you haven't seen this video, it's on my channel. It's called Look, Observation Across Monterey Bay Proves Flat Earth. It's only got 23,517 views. It should have so much more. I do go through and explain exactly what's going on. You can see here on this screen. I talk about this hump that even across the 11 miles, there was supposed to be, 13.23 miles here, there's supposed to be a 30-foot hump of water in between these two observers. And there just isn't. And we're able to see, and I talk here in this video about how these mirrors work when you're talking about a heliograph that they used to use, and we can talk about that a lot. But the Monterey Bay observation, you had somebody sitting at the beach, as you can see here, and you've got somebody who's able to see that mirror reflect back from that distance. Now, what happened after that is they went and they did a mirror observation. Let me find where I'm at here. This one here. They went back and did an 18-mile observation. And let's just watch a little bit of this video real quick.
You got it? So how far up do you think this is from the water? 4 feet?
Yeah, so camera height, I got a tape measure in my car.
So clearly this camera is very close to the shore. If you want to call it 4 feet, you can call it 10 feet. You can call it 15 feet because it doesn't matter. What we're seeing here is impossible on a globe. So let's continue.
I'll leave it sitting here and we can verify later. But
I say 3 to 4 feet.
Now here's the P900 footage that's from an infrared, and there you go.
I got it. There it is.
So Wendell, this was you shining the mirror, correct?
Yeah, it was right on the shoreline. I was sitting in a chair and had the mirror on my lap, and I was just flashing up towards Capri Road.
Right, absolutely unbelievable, and people need to recognize what this is. The reason this is better than the Monterey Bay observation is because we're doing it at the Salton Sea, where there's not the waves or the swell. I mean, there is tiny waves, but there's no tides. You're dealing with a lake, basically, a fairly still lake. Of course, it's not perfectly still. But when you're looking at this distance, and this distance that they do here, we'll continue playing this just a little bit.
We got it.
Yeah. Okay, let me get it.
Look at this.
Let's get our measurements.
Exactly.
Thank you, Shelley.
Yeah.
Now, if people imagine that you had somebody standing over there like Wendell, doesn't matter what you zoom in with, what camera or anything, you're not going to see Wendell because you're looking through too much atmospheric haze, you're looking through too much mucky air. The difference is when we've got the mirror, which basically what he's doing is sitting over there. At the time, did you have a 4 foot by 1 foot mirror? Is that what you were using?
Yep, just a door mirror, $8 from Walmart.
Right.
Yep.
So he's basically shining the sun, reflecting the sun that's behind the observers back at them. And again, I've described this many times. We'll describe it in a little bit. But if there's any obstruction of that mirror, you cannot see the mirror flash. The mirror flash has to be because you have a line of sight between the observer and the person flashing the mirror. So they do this. They do a great job of pointing out this. Like we said, this is 18 miles. And let me take you, again, you're not going to see Wendell, but you're going to be able to see the mirror flash. So if we go over to the Metabunk curve calculator, and you'll see I already pre-populated this. Let me actually get it on a little better screen for everybody so they can see what I'm doing here. There we go. So we're now looking at the Metabunk curve calculator. We're looking at a distance of 18 miles. Viewer height in feet. Just for fun, I put 20. Now, again, Wendell just said he was sitting in a chair at the shoreline. So, at the most, he's probably 6 feet, 7 feet. At the other side, we saw the camera. We saw where that camera was. It was 3 or 4 feet. But I put in 20 just because let's give the globe as much as they can possibly have. And you'll see here how much refracted drop. There's supposed to be 185 feet of drop. Ladies and gentlemen, if you scroll down even further where you can find the bulge height, the bulge height is 54.01 feet on that observation. You really have to think about what this means. Let me go back and actually bring up something for you here. If we go to just a quick diagram, I've drawn this the other day. I think I drew it 2 or 3 days ago, but I'll do it again just to show you. What you're basically talking about here is we've got two people. We've got a mirror here. We've got a camera here. Okay? And so the camera is simply, and I'll make it look like a camera so we can not be confused. Let's say we've got the camera here. So this is a camera, which means at that time you'd have the sun over here behind the camera side. And basically we've got rays of this sun which are hitting this mirror, reflecting, and in order for this camera to see it, how are they able to see it? When you draw this line here, this is how you get the bulge height. I'll change that color just so we don't get too confused here. All right, so the bulge height that we just talked about, and I don't remember exactly, let me jump back over there and see what it was. It was 54 feet. So you have a 54-foot hump of water. That's a 5-story building. There's no way you're able to observe this mirror reflecting the sun over a 54-foot high wall of water. It's just simply impossible. And yet that's what we're observing. And again, we've stretched this out. They started out by doing the 13 miles at the Monterey Bay. That's a little tougher because you're dealing with the waves, you're dealing with all the stuff that Ranty, and by the way, if you haven't watched my video from yesterday with Ranty Flat Earth, you got to watch that. But really, this is impossible. And then they saw, they're not seeing over a 5-story building. What's happening is you're seeing over a flat surface, flat water, and you're able to see that. Now, there is some mucky air. That's why we're going out there with P900s that have been converted to IR, to infrared. That helps you get through some of the haze. And then the fact that you're reflecting the brightest thing that there is in the world, which is the sun. And that's able to burn through a lot of that too. So this is a awesome observation. That's why we're going to check this out. Let me bring you back to the browser. I want to show you something else interesting here. After I did my video about their Monterey Bay observation, I just want to show you guys what happened. Let me scroll up here just to show you. If we go to my video here, hopefully you guys can see that. Yeah. I just want to show you, if we go to where I was looking at the Metabunk curve calculator, it's from metabunk.com. I always type in the search Metabunk curve. It's the very first link that comes up. So this was done, my video was done back December 13th 2018. So we're just talking 5 months ago. But you'll notice right here where it says results ignoring refraction, it gives you the horizon, then it gives you a bulge height. Here we were talking about it because I only put the viewer height at 10 feet, but the bulge was 29.18 feet, as you can see that right here. The very interesting thing is now, if you go back to Metabunk's calculator, we're on the same screen here. Actually, if we unclick advanced, because we're on this screen, you'll notice that he's now moved the refraction information to the top, which isn't a big deal, but what he's done is he's completely removed the bulge. Why? Because the bulge is the most embarrassing thing to the globe that there ever was. To think that between you and the shore of the other shore across the water, that there's a bulge height, and that's what needs to be there. If you believe you live on a sphere, if you believe you live on a big ball, well, there's a bulge in between these two observers. So he's went to the steps of actually getting rid of that bulge height. Now you can get it back by hitting advanced, and then you got to scroll way down here, and this does change just so you can see it's at 5401 right now. If I change this distance in miles to say 25, well, if we scroll back down now, your bulge height is going to be 104. So again, and that's 100-story building. I mean a 10-story building. So anyway, and this is just random distances here. We're going to put in these true distances here in a second. But go ahead and tell people a little bit about what you guys have done as far as that goes, Wendell, and I'll get ready to show people what we're going to be doing on Sunday.
Well, speaking to what you had there at Metabunk, that is I mean, Mick West is using what he thinks a, quote, standard refraction rate should be. And Mike Bull just came out with the video where he talks about, he was getting into it back and forth with Mick. So he, at the end of his video, he put up that Skunk Bay time-lapse video,
right,
which goes up and down and all over the place, and says, okay, Mick, at what point in this video is standard refraction? So it's all, it's all math magic, right?
Absolutely.
And here's the thing with any of these kind of observations, it's that even if you wanted to say, oh, well, like a glober would be, oh, it's refracting over the curve of the Earth. I don't know if you have, but I've never seen anybody give a calculation for what that would be, or the atmospheric conditions that would have to exist for that to even happen.
Or even to show any experiment that things are bending around humps. As I've mentioned before, and everybody, you can go do this tonight. If you have a bathroom mirror, go out and, well, not tonight, but if it's still sunny out like it is here in California, if you go out and you have somebody stand across from you and you start flashing them with a mirror to kind of get them to see that the sun is flashing in that mirror, if you obstruct that mirror with anything at all, make it a car, make it a cardboard box, make it a shoebox, whatever you want, the second that mirror is obstructed at all, you can no longer see any flash. It's not like you can see partial flash, you can see a little bit. No, if that mirror is obstructed, you can't see a flash, and that's what's great about this test. So what we're looking at now, let me make sure you guys are looking at the same thing. This is the Salton Sea. If you want to see where we're talking about, this is in deep South California, almost at the Mexico border. It's a very large body of water, Salton Sea. And let me show you what they did last time. So when we showed you the 18-mile observation, basically they had somebody at Capri Road. That was where the observer was. So we'll go down here to Capri Road. Let me bring this up here. And Capri Road. There we go. So they were down here at Capri Road, and they were observing you over at Bombay Beach, correct?
Yeah, they did it from both the road and down at the water level, and
Great.
they saw the same thing.
Right, which is a total of 17.65 miles. So on Sunday, the 2nd, this coming Sunday, what we're going to be doing is the very first observation we're going to be doing is I'm going to be here at the Salton Sea wreck area, and I'm going to be observing a mirror shot. Again, remember, this is north is up as you're looking at this screen. So you're going to have the sun rising on my east. This person at Capri Road is going to be shining that sun back to me at the Salton Sea wreck area. This distance is 9.81 miles. Again, we could put that into the curve calculator. We'll do that after. Let me write these down just so we know what we're putting in. So the very first observation is going to be 9.81 miles. Also, if you look, I don't know if you guys can see, you should be able to see in the lower right-hand corner of the screen, the elevation of Salton Sea is all at negative 230, so it's 230 feet below sea level. So you can see here it's all 230. As you get over here on the side, where we're going to be doing these observations, doesn't get much higher. Here's negative 228, 227, 226 as you get up to the parking lot, which means you're only at 5 feet higher than this water level. Same thing with over here at Capri Road. If we zoom out, get over here. Capri Road, up on this road, is at 218, negative 227. This is 218, 220, so that's only going to be 10 feet higher. Again, it gets a little bit confusing because we're dealing with negative numbers. If this is 230 and this is 220, this is actually 10 feet higher than the water level. But we're going to be doing first that observation there from Salton Sea, observing the mirror flash at Capri Road. The second observation, the one I'm most excited about, I'm going to be then moving over here to the Salton Sea State Park. Again, if we look at the elevation profile here, we're at about negative 226, so even this road here at 72nd Avenue is only 4 feet higher than the water. And you could even get as far up as going to where this road is, and still this road is at negative 200 feet, so even this road is only 30 feet higher than the water, but I'll show you why that's important. We're then going to be observing Wendell, and Wendell's going to be down here at the geothermal plant. This distance here is 31.5 miles. So we're talking about this distance here from Salton Sea State Park across the Salton Sea to the geothermal plant. Then after that, I'm going to move over to Capri Road. We're then going to be doing this observation, repeating this observation, the Capri Road, observing as, well, actually, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to do Capri Road to the geothermal plant. That distance is 27.5 miles. So we're going to be doing this observation here. And then Wendell's going to travel over to Bombay Beach. From there, we're going to do a kind of a reverse thing at this point. Hopefully the sun is, getting a little bit further to the point where we can then, and both people will have mirrors. Everybody at every station will have mirrors. I guess you could talk a little bit about that real quick. There's a lot of people coming, right, Wendell?
Yeah, we're going to have a good turnout, especially with you being there, Jaron.
Well, awesome.
So, so there'll be plenty of people there, and everyone's invited to come and check it out. I mean, you just need to put your own eyeballs on it. But we are. It helps when you have a mirror at each shore,
right?
So you can, once you pick it up, you know exactly where to flash your mirror. So, but we also have compass headings, and that'll help out quite a bit. The magnetic situation there at Salton is kind of weird. So maybe it's getting weird all over. But as long as you can see that flash from the other shore, then you know exactly where to look and where to flash your mirror.
Right. And so I'm most excited again. This will be great to get this observation here. Like I said, I'm just going to remind you of these because then I need to move over to the calculator just so we can beg the question and see exactly what the globe says we should be able not to see. But this distance here, like I said, was 9.8 miles. The next observation we're going to be doing here is 31.5 miles. So I'm writing these numbers down just so we can go punch them into the calculator. Then we've
actually it's 31 3/4.
Oh, 31.75. Okay. Yeah, 31.75. Then we're going to move here and do this long distance, which is 27.5 or so. Those are a little bit average. Yep. Then we're going to be doing, again, the repeat of the 18 miles, or actually I have it down as 17.75, but we can do 18, whatever. So those are the kind of the 4 observations that we're really going to be doing. And let's head over and push some of these into the calculator. And again, remember that all these places, so we'll go down here to the geothermal plant where Wendell will be. You'll see this here is negative 222, which is only 8 feet higher than the water level. And I'll show you why it really doesn't matter even if it's 50 feet above, because the distances that we're doing are insane. That's why. And they absolutely, if you can see the mirror, it absolutely puts the globe to bed, period. And I'll show you why that is. Let me get you guys on that screen now. 1 second. We'll bring this up. All right. So now we're looking at the curve calculator. And like I said, we'll do the first distance of the 9.81 miles that we're going to be doing from the rec area to Capri. And the viewer height in feet, again, we said that we can be as close as 5, but we can say that we're 8 feet high on one side and 8 feet high on the other. Maybe make it 15 feet. Regardless, what you have here is you'll see that you've got such a drop. Even if you use refraction, which again, this is assuming a 7.6R calculation, which has never been proven. It's just what they call standard refraction adjustment. This is, of course, to help you see further. But even if we get, again, I love to give the globe all the leeway possible. I don't mind doing that. Why? Because, well, the refracted drop here is a 55-foot drop, meaning the hidden height is 12.56 feet. Again, this is putting in a viewer height of 15 feet, which is ridiculous. We're going to be at the shore at both sides. So if you really did that and you put down, okay, we're going to have a combination of 6 feet, all of a sudden that number just grows. But like I said, I don't mind giving the globe every bit that it needs. Down here, when you look at the hump, The bulge, we got a 16-foot bulge. So remember, that's just the early morning. First thing we're going to do, that's going to happen right at sunrise. So we're talking 6 in the morning. We're going to be trying to see this observation. I think that one will be easy. Then when we move to the next one, this is where things get really interesting. Let's put in 31.75, the distance in miles. That's going to be from that north shore to the south shore. Viewer height in feet. This is where I said it doesn't really matter what we put in. Let's pretend, even though we saw Wendell will only be 8 feet, let's pretend Wendell's going to be 15. Even though the other side was only 7 feet, let's pretend I'm going to be 15. So that's going to be 30 feet of total viewer height. Let's go down here and see what we're talking about. We're talking about a refracted drop of 576 feet, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh.
We're talking about a refracted hidden height of 343 feet. Let's go down and look at the bulge and then laugh hysterically. The bulge is supposed to be 168.05 feet. That's a 16-story building. If you really think that somebody flashing a mirror can be seen on the other side of a 16-story building, then you got another thing coming. It's a ridiculous belief. Again, we haven't seen the observation yet, so it's hard to say. But if we do see it, and this is why I hope you guys check out my channel, I hope you subscribe to Flat Reality Earth Explorers channel so that they can live stream as well. This is going to be early morning Pacific time on June the 2nd, which is this coming Sunday. We probably will do the first observation 6 or 6:30, somewhere in there. Hopefully we're doing the 31 miles by 8-9, somewhere in there. And then we're going to continue around the shore like I already showed you, kind of rotating. So, Wendell, did I get most of that right?
You did, and the whole point of repeatability. The first location repeats the same thing that IAG and Nat Geo did, right?
Right.
The observation from Bombay to Capri repeats what we did back in March. So the longer ones are first time try.
Right.
So, but I'm building the mega mirror.
Right.
So that should help us out.
Yeah, Wendell's putting together a 4-foot by 4-foot mirror. And again, if you think a 4-foot by 4-foot mirror will help that flash get above a 16-story building, it's just ridiculous. It's gonna, that mirror should be completely blocked, and this is just terrible for the globe. Now, if we don't see it, this isn't proof that the Earth's a globe. Now, any glober would use that as proof, but it's not proof. We're going to the Salton Sea, which is 200 feet below sea level. I've talked about this before. It's probably the worst place to really do this experiment. However, there's not a lot of lakes where you can get a 31.5 mile distance and you're not having to deal with it's not an ocean. You're not dealing with waves. You're not dealing with swell. You're not dealing with some of the problems that you have when you're dealing across the ocean. We're just looking across this, and it's not as hot as it usually is this time of year. I mean, I think last year around the same time it was well over 100. It might be close to 195 or so come midday, but in the morning it's only supposed to be 75 at sunrise, right?
Yep, 75, and then go up to about 96 by 4 p.m.
Right, and we're going to be getting there early so that we hopefully get to see through that haze, and we've got the equipment to do it. Number one, you've got, like I said, when you're reflecting that sun, it's the brightest object that there is. So you're not trying to see, like I've got a portable sun that's 1,600 lumens, and we've tried to see that over distances, and that just gets eaten up by the atmospheric haze. Also, if you have a P900 or a P1000, if they're not infrared converted, you have a hard time seeing through. But that P900 that I have that's infrared converted cuts through that haze, and we're hoping that we can see that far. If we do, you'll actually probably get to see me cry on my channel live on Sunday. Yeah, it'll be very sad. No, I mean, just because that's the kind of, that is cement proof. You'll hear me challenging NBC News. You'll hear me challenging all these different channels, Nat Geo, to come out here and film this and shut your mouths, basically, if we get to see this. Now, we may not, and maybe we'll only see the short distances. Maybe we'll only do a repeat of the 17-mile. Regardless, any of those distances prove that the globe is not what we've been taught, or the Earth is not what we've been taught. It's not a sphere. There is no hump in between two individual people. And again, I've got some photos here just to kind of show you. Let me see if I can bring this up here. Yeah, so this is a photo of the Salton Sea. And again, I know you can't see my mouse, but if you kind of look at the far edge, that's going to be where Wendell is. And if you look at the very close edge, that's going to be where I am. If you think that there's a 16-story building of hump in between us, man, you look forward to seeing these tests. So I pulled up this. This kind of shows you a little bit better of the observations that we're going to be doing. And lastly, I'll pull up this one, which just kind of lists the places. This is now flipped from what you were looking at on Google Earth. That's the only thing. And we're now looking north is closest to us. The geothermal plant is in the south. Bombay Beach is to the east, and Capri Road is to the west. So this is just flipped. But again, we're going to be starting out at the Salton Sea Rec area that you see there in the, I don't know, maybe 7 o'clock position, looking across to Capri Road, which is in your 3 o'clock position. I'll then be moving to the Salton Sea State Park, which is in your 5 o'clock position. I'll be looking at Wendell, who will be at geothermal plant, which is over there in the south at the 11 o'clock position. I'll then be moving over to Capri Road. Again, we'll be trying to look at the geothermal plant there in the south, and then Wendell will move around to the Bombay Beach, and we'll finish off with that repeat of the 17.5 or 18-mile observation there. So I'm very excited. The weather, Wendell, from what we see, says it might be a little bit hazy. I think we've got the equipment to see through it, And here's the exciting thing for me is no matter what happens here, except for if we see everything. I mean, if we see it from 31 miles, then I really don't see a reason to go back in the winter. But if we can't, let's say we only see the short distance, or we see the 18 miles and we see the 9, but we don't see the 27 and we don't see the 31. I want to go back and do this exact same experiment come December, just because I'm going to have a ton of footage. I'm going to have my P900, which is infrared converted. I'm going to have my iPhone out there. I'm going to be live streaming, but we're going to have all this footage, and then I want to go out there and repeat that test come December when it's cold, just to see the differences. So there's a lot that's going to be learned from this test. What do you think?
Oh, absolutely. And if you're a glober and you want to lull yourself into thinking that the refraction is what is happening here, the burden of proof is on you. Because if we are at different locations, I mean, I'm sure that you've seen the laser that's being shined through an aquarium full of sugar water, right? Well, it'll bend depending on at what level of density you're at, showing different forms of refraction. So you would basically have to say that the atmospheric condition would be happening at every single time. But what we've shown is that the weather is changing, the temperature is different, the barometer is different, everything is different, and yet we're still seeing the same thing. So Occam's razor demands that the Earth is flat.
Right. Yeah, and this test really should show it. So I'm super excited. I mean, I don't have doubts that we're going to see the first mirror at 9 miles, because we've seen it at 11.5 or 13. I always get those, which one it was at Monterey. But we've seen that before, so I don't have any doubts of the Salton Sea Rec area to Capri Road. And then the great thing is come 7 or 8 o'clock on Sunday morning, we're going to be looking across. I'll be live streaming from my iPhone, obviously. I've got a battery pack. I've got everything charging as we speak. Everything's getting ready, and that's going to be great. And if we get to 1,000 subs, we can have Wendell live streaming. Of course, he's going to be recording, and of course, we'll be time stamping and making sure that everything's synced up, so that if I have to make a video after, that we can prove that obviously that's in real time. But really, to get that proof, the best thing would be to make sure that we do it live. Let me check what we've got as your subs. I don't know if we're any closer or if we're so we're only at 792. That's still great. We've gotten 100 since we started the show. Again, what we're talking about is if you guys are watching this now, it would really help us out if you could head over to Flat Reality Earth Explorers. Simply scroll down in the video you're watching now, click the very first link, go over there and give them a sub. Our goal is by Sunday morning to have 1,000 subs there so that Wendell can live stream. And who else is going to be there, Wendell? And then I know that there's going to be a TV production company there too, right?
Right. We were approached by a French news crew, and they're doing a documentary. They were out at Exit the Matrix, and they're going to be on this Friday night, tomorrow. Flat Earth Hollywood is going to be out there on Hollywood and Highland. So they're going to be out there filming some of that. And then on Saturday, they're going to join us out there Saturday night for some laser observations, and then Sunday morning for the big mirror test. So hey, come be famous in France.
There you go. Yeah, and I'll be out there, so come say hi. Like I said, if you want to be where I am, I mean, we're gonna start here at the Salton Sea Rec area. I guess I should bring this up one more time. Again, thank you so much for those subscribing. I see we're 802, 805. Perfect. Thank you so much. If we can get to 1,000, that would be tremendous, so that Wendell can live stream as well. And again, all of his live streams will be right on the Flat Reality Earth Explorers channel. Let me bring up Google Earth one more time just to show you where I'll be if you want to be where I am, Wendell, where he'll be. But let's see here. So yeah, so this is basically the Salton Sea. Again, this is north is up, south is down here. So I'll be starting off very early Sunday morning at the Salton Sea Rec area. I'll zoom in here so you can actually see where that's at if you want to make sure you can get directions if you're going to go. We're going to be doing that observation first thing because the sun will be rising behind my back here. As the sun gets a little bit higher, come 8 o'clock or so, I'll be over here at the Salton Sea State Park, and Wendell will be down here at the geothermal plant. At that point, the sun's going to be about here-ish. If you're talking about angles, I'll be able to be seeing his flash at me as I'll be standing here. Then I'll continue around to Capri Road. At that point, we will try and see Wendell again at the geothermal plant, and then Wendell's going to rope around here to Bombay Beach to kind of end the day as I'll be viewing from Capri Road. So it's a great place. If you want to head out there, it'll be a great day. The weather's going to be beautiful. I'm not sure the Salton Sea will be that beautiful, but it'll be a great day. And again, this is a nice, it's not too far. I mean, this is, how long do you think, Wendell, from Salton Sea State Park to Capri Road, how long is that trip? 30 minutes?
Maybe less than that. 20.
Okay. Yeah, so it's not that long. Wendell's got the most traveling to do because he's going to be doing, he's got to get way down here south, and then he's got to get all the way around here to Bombay Beach. For me, the travel won't be too bad, except for the fact that I'm coming from way the hell up here to get there. Yeah, where do I live? I live way over here, so I live in this dark area.
You're dedicated.
Yeah. So I'm going to come down, but then it won't be that bad for me. I just got to get here early in the morning, and then we're going to rope around to here by 8, 9 o'clock, and then hopefully be over here by 10, 11, and just kind of play it by ear. So if you guys want to come out, I'd love to see you. It should be fun. There's going to be a TV crew out there. Who are some of the other YouTubers going to be out there? I know you said Nathan's going to be there. Sydney's going to be there. Who else?
Dan the Waterman.
Oh, yeah, Dan. Love Dan. I've seen him a few times at a few meetups. So
Mike Bull. He's done some stuff with Mr. Thrive and Survive.
Right.
Yeah, so.
Awesome.
And our isn't our featured guest going to be there, your puppy?
Yeah, Miss Puppy will be there. She likes to get out and run around, so no, it's good. She's a little afraid of the ocean, so we'll see how she is at the lake. I think she'll be a little bit better. She's not a big fan of waves, so she's a little timid, that dog. But yeah, so Miss and I will be there. We're going to be traveling down, taking that long road, and yeah, we'd appreciate anybody being there. And if you're not there, just please keep an eye on my channel. And again, subscribe to Flat Reality Earth Explorers. We're at 841. Thank you guys so much. This is amazing. I know Wendell thanks you because I was kind of shocked when he told me the other day. I said, okay, and you'll be live streaming from your location. He said, I can't. I'm like, why can't you live stream? He said, because our channel doesn't have 1,000 subs. And I didn't even ever think about that. I'm like, man, we got to get to 1,000 subs because it would be very important to me.
Been years for you, Jaron, but some of us are just starting out.
And it's been a long time. But I remember when I had my first sub. I remember when I had 10 subs. I was shocked as could be. So, things have definitely moved quite along. And I thank everyone for subbing to my channel, of course. But if you could help out Flat Reality Earth Explorers, let me transition over there one more time. So thank you guys so much. We're at 841. I don't think we'll have a problem. I told Nathan Oakley to mention it on his show tomorrow and on Sunday. So I know that's going to be another 50 or more subs there. And this video will be up for the next few days, and people will be checking it out. So I don't think we'll have a problem getting to 1,000. So I thank you guys so much for helping out with that. And that's pretty much what we're going to be doing. So we just wanted to let you know what's going on, what we're going to be trying to observe, why it's so detrimental to the globe. It's absolutely a globe killer. It's not a flat earth killer because the problem with looking over long distances over water is you get that mucky air, and if we can't see it, well, we'll get up a little bit higher till we can. We'll calculate where it was that we can, and then we'll try and move back down and see what happens. And if we can't see it, well, we're going to go back in December, like I said, and repeat this exact same test from all those exact same locations at the exact same heights, seeing if there's a difference, seeing if we can see it to kind of prove, it is because of this mucky air, or if we're just seeing it all the time. And if we do see it, then there's no reason to go back. If you're able to see, it's just ridiculous.
There's no reason why you'd want to go back.
No, this is why it's so exciting to me, because this is one of those that's an absolute globe killer. It's impossible on a globe that two people standing 31.5 miles away would be able to signal each other with a mirror. And again, if you go and look up a heliograph, what a heliograph is, let me see if I can bring this up real quick. A heliograph is a signaling device that was used in the wars. It's not used anymore, obviously, with long-distance communications being possible. But when you look at the distance that has been done, right here we can see, hopefully I have this up for everyone to be watching it. If you look at the distance here that it says, the world record distance was established by a detachment of U.S. signal sergeants by the interoperation of the stations on Mount Ellen and Mount Uncompahgre or something, Colorado, 183 miles. So,
Wow.
oops. Now, the difference with that is the reason we're not even trying to do anything like that is they're at 2 mountaintops. So, of course, if you're at 2 mountaintops, the difference is you're not having to deal with the quote-unquote curvature of the Earth, and you're not having to deal with all the mucky air that sits above water. So 31 miles is a tall order, but at the same time, we've got the equipment. We've got a huge mirror. Wendell's building his 4-foot by 4-foot mirror. We've got the infrared cameras. We've got the other cameras available, and we're going to be getting there early enough that I think we're going to be able to see it. So we'll see what happens.
I also got my military signal mirror. It's 3 inches by 5 inches. It's highly polished glass and highly reflective mirror. We're going to try that as well once we get line of sight and can see each other, and hopefully that'll work.
Yeah, awesome. And then you can actually send Morse code, right? Isn't it one that has like the signal flasher?
If I knew Morse code.
Right. Well, I can tell you to send 1 2 1 2 1 4
SOS.
Yeah.
I can send you this code.
So appreciate everybody watching. We got 868. I think we'll have no problem getting to 1,000. So that's awesome. So make sure you subscribe. Like I said, Flat Reality Earth Explorers, because if you do that, then you'll be able to watch that live stream. I'll be live streaming all day on Sunday, and possibly if I get there on Saturday at a good enough time, they're going to be doing what is going on Saturday. There's going to be some laser tests, right?
Right. So a couple of guys from IAG, the International Investigation Group, are also going to join us. And their big thing was, how can we tell, for example, at night with a laser, if the laser is actually down at the shoreline? So what we're going to do is put 2 lasers over on the Salton Sea Rec area side, the same place that we were at before with Nat Geo and them, and have one down by the water and then one up by the picnic tables, and then they'll be able to see that the one of the lasers is right at the water level. So we're going to do that. We're going to try maybe go back to Bombay Beach and try again for repeatability. We were out there in March, and we kind of crossed streams like Ghostbusters with a laser on each side pointing at each other. So, but we also we saw an inversion layer above us. So when the laser was pointed up, it was actually curving up, which actually proves, because when we brought it back down, it was straight. That we were in a column of warm air where no refraction was happening. So if we run into that again, I'd like to explore that a little more. But just great things happening there with both lasers and mirrors.
Yeah, so that's going to be going on Saturday, and then Sunday is going to be, focused more on the mirror observations. I'm excited about the mirror. I've already seen enough laser proof. The problem with that is a lot of Globers don't buy it. They say, oh, what you're actually seeing is the laser light when it gets over the hump. But that can't be the case when you're talking about a mirror observation. Again, I told you, go out today, have somebody take a mirror, shine it in your face, and then obstruct that mirror with anything. Go kind of get behind a car. As soon as you obstruct that mirror at all by anything, you can no longer see the reflection of the sun, which makes sense. That's why these signal mirrors work so well, is because you have to have line of sight. Line of sight is the key here. As soon as you break that line of sight, you can no longer see the reflection. So just to go back one more time, and again, I'll just show this for the last time, just so you guys see where we're starting out at Salton Sea Rec area, moving around to Capri Road. These are the observations we're going to do, and every one of them shows that the Earth isn't a globe. Every one of these observations doesn't work on a sphere Earth. So even if we only see this one, there's a problem for the globe. If we see this one, the globe is just toast. It's done. It's the end of story. Then you'll see me going around and speaking about it at colleges. You'll see me, that'll be my speech topic when we go to Amsterdam. That will be what I'll harp on when we go to Lake Shasta. This will be the biggest news that we can find, and I'll challenge Nat Geo, come back out, film this. I'll go there. I'll meet you guys there, and we'll get some of these guys that have been laughing for too long to realize that they're simply wrong, and they'll have to come up with an explanation for it. And of course, the globe needs an explanation. That's the whole thing behind a globe, is everything that we see, everything that we observe shows that the Earth is obviously and observably flat, and I want to add to that provably at the end of this weekend. So we'll see what happens. But let's just go over one more time to this video here, if I can find it. Where are we at here? Where did I go? Oh, yeah, this one right here. And just showing you again this part of the video. And again, this was at the Salton Sea, so what you're looking at is the Salton Sea. Here we go. And we'll just watch this again. Now remember, this is from This is from Capri to Bombay, correct?
Correct. Yep. And mid-March.
Yep, in mid-March. And so again, look at this camera and you tell me how high is this camera off the water. The camera's, maybe 4 feet at the most. You've got Wendell, who is sitting in a chair at the water level on the other side. Again, there's no waves, so you don't have to deal with that.
How far up do you think this is from the water? 4 feet?
Yeah.
And let's see what happens when they observe.
I got a tape measure in my car, so
Looks like it's 3 feet.
I'll leave it sitting here and we can verify it later. But
I say 3 to 4 feet.
And so again, you see all this muck, and anybody might say, well, you can't see anything. You can't see the beach on the other side. You can't see a person over there. You can't see the buildings disappearing from the bottom up. They've got a lot of explanations for this, but the problem is, if you can see the mirror, this is why the mirror is deadly.
I got
There it is.
I got it. I got it.
There it is. Yeah, we got it.
We got it.
Yeah. Okay,
So,
we get it.
Look at this.
So when he's shouting, we got it, we could see that, or they could, I was there flashing, but they could see that with their naked eye.
Right.
When he's saying, I got it, he just finally found it in the camera zoomed in. So,
right.
I never really understood why a mirror flash was better than a laser until you were able to explain it to me this way, in that, the Globers will talk about how the light diffracts. It'll disperse. Whereas, like what you were just saying with a mirror flash, you are actually looking at the mirror itself. Absolutely. At the flash off the mirror. And I know for that Monterey Bay observation, if there's one frame that you can stop it on where you can actually see the rectangular shape of the mirror.
Right.
So there is no, it is definitely line of sight.
Yeah, there is no bulge, there is no hump in between the camera here, which is 4 feet tall, looking across at that mirror flash. And again, we can go back and show it again that I forgot what the height was. Wasn't it 50-something feet? There's supposed to be a 50-foot bulge of water in between these two people, which is simply there's not. There's no way that you're seeing the light from behind a 5-story building. It's not the way that mirror observations work. You must have line of sight. Again, I beg you to go out and do it yourself so you can see. Oh, you're right, Jaron. The second that mirror is obstructed by anything, it cuts off the reflection completely. Completely. And if there's a bulge of water between you and the observer, then it must be cut off at all times. There's a huge hump of water 50 foot tall. And if we can see the 31 miles, then there's a huge hump of water 160 foot tall. I mean, it's just ridiculous. So I'm excited about it. Wanted to tell people about it. Any final words there for you? And thank you so much. I do see a $20 super chat. That's awesome. I checked what was making the Foucault's pendulum in the Pantheon. Paris moved back and forth. It was a lie. Mandan and the rumpus entwined the back and forth thrust to keep the pendulum moving. Yes, all those pendulums have electromechanical and magnetic devices that must keep the pendulum going or the pendulum would stop, obviously. So there's electromechanical devices in them that keeps the pendulum going. But anyway, any final words before we head out?
Just that it's really, it's hard to describe. It's kind of magical when you see it for yourself. And like everyone, anybody who's worth their salt is going to say, look, don't believe me. Just go out and look for yourself. And it's really something special when you do see these observations and you get a sense of like, wow, the Earth really is flat.
Right.
So it's
I'm excited
amazing.
about it. So I'm hoping that everybody else is excited about it. Again, if you can't make it out there, the good thing is you can check out my channel. Look for that on Sunday morning. I also plan on, as long as there's a Globebusters show, which I haven't heard any different, so I think Globebusters will be having a show. If they do a show, they'll be checking in with me live. So if you watch Globebusters at 12 noon Pacific on Sunday, by that time I'll probably be well past the 31 miles, but you'll find out at that time too whether or not we saw the mirror. And if we did, then that footage will definitely be on my channel already. And then I'll come back and make a movie about it, make a good a good documentary film about it, and get some other documentary makers to challenge them to come out and film it. So that's going to be exciting. So if you guys want to support that at all or support me in my trip down there, that would be appreciated. I would never tell you have to do that, but if you want to help me out with my long drive or my hotel stays, you can go to paypal.me/Jaron, patreon.com/Jeranism, and my patrons are the ones that make this all possible. That's why I'm able to simply pack up, decide to go, and say, hey, I'm going to the Salton Sea this weekend, and here we go. And you can go to Venmo at Jeranism as well. So again, a big thank you to all my patrons for everything they do. If you want to mail me anything, you can do that at Jeranism, P.O. Box 3044, Merced, California, 95344. And again, just to finish it off one more time by showing you the Salton Sea and where exactly I'll be at the Salton Sea Rec area, which is up here. Be there at this little, there's a parking lot here, a lot of little picnic benches. If everybody remembers the Salton Sea test we did before, there was a conversation I had with Rob Skiba for a while. He was out there at the last one sitting at these park benches, so it's a good place to show up, and we'll be here doing the first observation bright and early, probably prior to sunrise, so about 5:30 a.m. on June 2nd. Anything I missed, Wendell?
You got it all.
All right.
So
good. So I will be seeing you very shortly in a couple days, in a day or two, or tomorrow, or whatever. No, not tomorrow. Saturday. See you Saturday. And everyone else, now we got NA for subscribers. Why is that? NA subscribers. Weird. Very interesting. Don't know why that happened. Maybe they're like, why are they getting so many subs? I don't know. Now it says NA. Let me see if we can refresh that real quick and see what happened. The live stats are NA. It looks like 886. There we go. We got that number back. So again, it would be really helpful if you guys could subscribe there. Flat Reality Earth Explorers one more time, just because we could really use a $1,000 subs on Flat Reality Earth Explorers channel so that he can live stream as well. If not, no big deal. He'll be filming it. I'll be able to push those pieces back together and show you with timestamps and everything that we're on the up and up. We're certainly not going out there for any other reason to observe what the Earth actually is, and hope you guys can come out and join us. And if not, well, check out my channel. So, hey, another $20 super chat. Thank you so much, Isaiah4022. Appreciate that so much, guys. Appreciate everybody for watching, and we'll talk to you again on Sunday live from the Salton Sea. Till then, this has been Jeranism, reminding you to do your own research, come out and observe the Earth yourself. Don't take other people's words for it. Don't take my word for it. Don't take Wendell's word for it. Come observe it yourself, or check out my channel and see what you see on Sunday. Till then, this has been Jeranism. Till next time, guys. Peace.